We're good.
Ready, set, go. Hi there, Dr. Bill here tonight. We're going to talk about super immunity. We're going to talk about different things about how to be healthy naturally and depending on your body as opposed to outside in things. I'm going to start off with a story and then I'm going to explain this outside in versus inside out thing. So I was sophomore in high school, so therefore I think 14, 15 years old, and I was working in the meat department of a local grocery store. And it was one of the few jobs around. I'd always worked since I was a little kid, so it was natural for me to work, and I needed money. So I started working there, and it was pretty gross. I mean, you got knives, you got meat, you got all kinds of stuff. And I was the apprentice, so I didn't get to do any of the glory stuff. I just did the cleanup and whatever. However, I discovered when I woke up one morning in the middle of the night, I had a red streak up my arm to my armpit. And I mean, bright red. And I freaked me out. So I went running to my parents. Oh my gosh, I got this red thing on my arm. I don't know what's going on. And it hurt. It hurt particularly up under the armpit. And I said, I don't know what it is. They didn't know what it was. So sure enough, we go to the hospital. They check it out. And they said, you have an infection of your lymph system. Well, I didn't really know what a lymph system was. However, now I do. And the lymph system is really a big deal with our immune system. It helps clean up stuff. It's always trying to get rid of bad stuff, trying to process. And it's a bit like our blood circulation goes through the whole body. Well, it just so happens that one of the major spots of lymph node accumulation is up in the old armpit. So that's where it all kind of streaked up my arm, and boom, there it was. So I learned as a sophomore in high school that if you do something your body doesn't like, then the lymph system can react very strongly. I had to take an antibiotic and got rid of it. Unfortunately, the story isn't in there because about a month later, exact same thing happened again. And what was happening, I was getting fresh seafood into cuts because, of course, using knives, you get cuts. And that, my body couldn't handle that. I was allergic, in essence. My body didn't like the fresh seafood. So therefore, I had to stop the job as a meat cutter, which wasn't the end of the world, but it introduced me to, in fact, the fact that the immune system can react when there's a problem. I'm going to fast forward. I'm a dad at this point. My daughter is probably somewhere in her late teens, I think probably late teens. And she said, now I've obviously been a chiropractor at that point for like 20-something years. And she said, Dad, my armpit's killing me. And sure enough, she had an infection in her lymph system as well. For her, I'll give one tip early here. We had her get in a tub with apple cider vinegar. I know a lot of you like to just knock it down because it tastes so good. I use chewables, by the way. But she got in the tub and it literally changed in size to about an 80% reduction from being in that tub with just 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. So there you go. That's one thing to do about it. So we're going to go through a few slides here kind of quickly. This is sort of an introduction. Salutogenesis is the opposite of pathogenesis, which is an approach to health focusing on being healthy from the inside out, as opposed to pathogenesis is what Western medicine is all about. It studies the pathogens, the outside diseases, what's going wrong on the outside of your body. I mean, on the inside of the body, but then you treat it from the outside. So you take an antibiotic, you take something that suppresses a symptom or increases a symptom. And that would be all what this is about. So salutogenic model is that you're trying to do the best to increase your health, decrease your stress, and help your body's innate immune system response. So, and Dr. McCoy, who is a well-researched individual, has done a lot of studies on this salutogenesis. He talks that nothing is more important in the body than having a robust immune system response. So if you envision for a second, and in fact, if you can pan over here to little Miss Sally. So an outside in approach would be somewhere in her body. We're going to undo this. Put down that nice poster. Somewhere in her body, she's got a problem. She's got a problem with her stomach. She's got a problem with her lungs, with her heart, with her kidneys, with her, this is over here, spleen and pancreas. This is liver, with some part of her body. So outside in would be she takes something and it helps to decrease that symptom. So that's outside in. So if you have a fever, you do something to reduce the fever. If you have a tummy upset, you do something to reduce the tummy upset. You're not really worried about increasing the immune system. You're just trying to get rid of the symptom. The other approach is, okay, same stuff. We got problems with the spleen or the pancreas. We got challenges with the liver, with the lungs, with the heart's in there, with the kidneys, with whatever. Now we say, okay, what is it that I can do to help that work better? That's an inside out approach. Well, you know what? If I got more sleep, I'm going to go through some of these. If I got better exercise, if I ate better, if I drank more water, if I did things that help my body naturally, then you're going inside out as opposed to outside in. So specifically, we're going to get through a few of these. Here we go. You can improve your water intake. Leave the soda and the energy drinks behind. No bueno. Get more sleep. That's when I don't feel well. Anybody that knows me very well knows that I am a sleep monger. I am going to just get as much sleep as I can. I usually get up pretty early. I go to bed pretty early. But when I'm not feeling well, I get all the sleep I can. The body needs time to rest and repair. If you're not getting enough sleep, or your quality of sleep isn't good enough, then you can have all kinds of problems, including your immune system. Unfortunately, the SUGAR is a major attacker of the immune system. It decreases the way the body can function. So more sugar equals more problems. Less sugar equals more strength and health and vitality to the body. Good vitamins are great. Exercising, body definitely. I remember a woman way back when, in I think the 80s, can't remember last time, it was Susan something, Powder, something like that. She was all about oxygen in the body. The more exercise you get, the more oxygenation you have throughout your body. So, another way to help your body function better is to get more exercise, get more oxygen, get the circulation flowing, make the muscles happier, the body happier, the heart happier as well. In fact, just a little quick quiz. If a highly tuned athlete, do you think their heart beats more or less than the average person? Think about that for a little bit. If it's more, then it means that the heart is less effective. If a heartbeat is lower, it means that it's more effective. So some resting heart rates would be, averages would be 60 to 72, 75. Some world-class athletes, their heart only beats 40 to 50 times a minute at rest because it is so effective. It does this kaboom, blood flow all over the place. All right, so those are things you can do to help your health right now. Other things you can do, all kinds of things. You probably can't read this, but exercise, take a nature walk. Grounding is one thing that our receptionist here, the chiropractic assistant Victoria, talks about. Getting outside in bare feet and connecting with the earth and the power thereof. Yoga, meditation, mindfulness, prayer, journaling, gardening. Minimize your exposure to the media, because if you want to be depressed, just watch a lot of news. Read a good book, listen to music, visit your family wellness chiropractor. What a great idea. So why do I need to exercise? I think everybody should know that. We're not going to go into that. That which we persist in doing becomes easier, not that the nature of the task has changed, but our ability to do so has improved. Thank you, Ralph Waldo. He's got it going on. So chiropractic, what can chiropractic do? We're going to go through this quickly. If we go through vital needs, and if I ask you how long could you exist without food, probably not comfortably, not happily, but 30 to 40 days, something like that. There's some biblical accounts about stuff like that too. How about actually 40 days? Yes, that's about right. Water, less, but probably somewhere between 3, 4, 5 days. Again, you'd be miserable. I heard that Hugh Jackman, when he did the film Les Mis, He actually didn't drink water for 2 days, and he said it was the worst he's ever felt in his life. And he really looked the part because he was feeling major, major pain and agony. So water, 100 hours. Our body's mostly made up of water. Oxygen, and now we're getting not too long. You go swimming and you can't breathe after 2-3 minutes, then you're in trouble. If it's more than 5 or 6 minutes, then you probably have brain damage. So you got to have oxygen. So what could be less than oxygen? Nerve flow. If you don't have nerve flow from your brain down to the rest of the body, it's all over. Lights are out in Georgia and everywhere else, so not good. So when you have pressure on a nerve from a subluxation, that's kind of blurry. It's pretty clear here, but it's blurry up there. Sorry. Is that one any better? Yeah, that one's better. Okay, so if you have normal situation here, vertebrae where they ought to be, nice space for the nerve, nice space for the disc, things are happy. If, on the other hand, you get pressure on the disc, pressure on the nerve, now you're decreasing the body's ability to heal itself because the brain communication to the body is decreased. Very little pressure can cause up to a 60% reduction in nerve flow. I don't know about you, but I don't want my car working at 60%. I don't want my air conditioning when it's hot, or my heat in the summer, in the winter time, or anything else working at 60%. I want it working as high as I can. So not being subluxated is a big deal. So we would suggest that's another one. Babies need to get adjusted. So very simply, immune system is being able to trust in your body. If you trust in your body and you build it up, I won't go into great detail, but I happen to be in a church position during the swine flu epidemic. And all the focus from everybody, kind of like with COVID, was have your hands cleaner. It wasn't put a mask on swine flu, but it was during COVID. So COVID may be more appropriate to talk about. But put the mask on and stay 6 feet apart and wash your hands all the time. And I was in a meeting with other people, and I said, well, what about helping the body function better from the inside out? Because I happen to be involved with college students at the time, which they may be the people that get the least sleep on the universe, eat the worst food. I didn't go in one boy's apartment that had mostly ramen and cold cereal. Those are the nutritional building blocks that they were living on. And nobody really wanted to listen about building the body up inside. I'm a huge believer that if you treat the body well, then it will treat you well. Yes, there's genetics. Yes, there's other challenges. But in general, if you treat your body well and you do all those good things, your immune system will respond to that, particularly if you're getting adjusted on a regular basis as well. I'll end with a study that I recently heard about. There's 2 studies that I'll talk about. One was a study on cadavers. And they actually looked at cadavers. They found out their health history. And they found out that some people had heart issues or lung issues or kidney issues or liver or whatever. And they studied, they said, okay, let's travel from the organ to the spine and see if we can see anything going on there. And in way over 90% of the cases, they found there was, in fact, I go back to that slide before, a subluxation, even arthritis degeneration in that spot. And therefore, that nerve going to that organ was compromised. Second story I'll tell is another study that was done, and this was done in the 1980s, done by Independent Cancer Research Institute, Dr. Ron Perot, and he studied cancer, likelihood, markers of cancer. And he said, okay, we're going to get all these different groups, and he would test healthy groups, he'd test unhealthy ones, smoker groups, alcohol groups, good nutrition groups. And then finally ran across a chiropractor, said, you know what? I bet chiropractic care makes a huge difference on markers. And instead of it just being a minimal, in the study were people that had been adjusted chiropractically for more than 10 years. And the group was not only 5, 10, 15, 20% better, but hundreds of percent less likely to have cancer, to have those markers than people that are not under chiropractic care. So it's a huge thing to help your nervous system function well. So I'm here to tell you, best way to help your immune system is to do good things for it, including chiropractic, but all the other things well. Do less drugs and medications, less sugar, and more good stuff. And if you do that, you can be healthier naturally. Thanks for listening.